My name is Zac Smith. I do what I do because I have a passion for helping others achieve what they never thought was possible. And this is how I train. G'day everybody, my name is Zac Smith. I'm an online coach and I used to be a fitness competitor. But now, today I'm here to represent Flush Fitness and APS Nutrition as a sponsored athlete. I'm going to run you through a chest workout. This workout's going to be made up into 4 parts. So the first 3 exercises are going to be compound exercises, and then we're going to finish off with an isolation. Before we even get started, we're going to warm up our shoulders. So to let you know, I've had a bit of an AC joint problem with my shoulder, so that's always a necessity for me to get started. Just get the blood flowing through the shoulder and also into the chest before I get anything done. The first exercise is going to be a chest press. We're going to use dumbbells, and it's going to be on a slight incline. Our second exercise, we're going to do a close grip bench press. We're going to actually superset that exercise with a diamond push-up. After that, we're going to go into our last compound exercise, which is going to be a single arm chest press. Our last exercise is going to be the isolation exercise, and we're going to do some cable flies. So before we get started, we're going to do a warm-up. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some light dumbbells. I use 3 kilo dumbbells to get started. I'll just take my elbow and my shoulder at the same height, and then I'll basically bring my wrist up until I get to a parallel with my shoulder, elbow and wrist, and then I just bring it back down. So it's just an upward and downward motion, keeping the shoulder and the elbow fixed. I'll do that for about 20 to 30 reps, just until I feel like it's getting a little bit of a burn in the rotator cuff. There's a couple of other ones we can do in the cables. We're just bringing basically the lateral movement, keeping our elbow nice and close to our body and moving the cable outwards. We'll do that for about 20 reps as well. So that's all we need to do before we get stuck in. Just make sure that the blood's basically rushing through the shoulder and a little bit into the chest as well before we get started. So for exercise number 1, we're going to do an incline dumbbell press. So when we're doing this exercise, just make sure that at the end of the rep, we're getting a big squeeze in the muscle, and then when we're coming down, we get a big stretch as well. At the bottom of the repetition, we don't want to stretch so much that we're going to put our shoulders in jeopardy, especially for myself with an injury. So we're going to just go down just past 90 degrees and then bring it right the way back up. The tempo, nice and slow on the way down, and then a bit more of an explosive movement on the way up. So you could probably think about 3 seconds on the way down and then 1 second on the way up with a slight pause at the bottom. In terms of sets and reps, for myself, I'll do 4 or 5 sets for each of these exercises. I tend to do more sets than I do exercises, if that makes sense. So I'll go into a gym and I'll basically have the mentality that unless I'm sore after an exercise, I won't move on. So for myself, between 8 and 15 reps and 4 to 5 sets on this exercise. Exercise number 2 is going to be a bench press. We're going to use the Smith machine with a close grip, and we're going to superset it with diamond push-ups on the bench. We're going to do a close grip bench press in the Smith machine. So I love this exercise because you get a great squeeze and contraction on the middle chest and also the upper chest. The way to set this one up, we're going to sit nice and deep into the bench so that basically the bar is at the lower chest. I find that when you're setting this one up to have flat feet on the ground as well, it's going to make you isolate the chest a bit more instead of arching the back too much. So when you're setting that one up, just make sure that the hand grip is just inside shoulder width apart. We don't want to have our hands too wide because we're trying to isolate the inner chest. And this will also work your triceps a little bit as well as a secondary muscle. So just like the first exercise, between 4 and 5 sets, and we're going to do 8 to 15 reps. So now we're going to superset that second exercise with diamond push-ups. I mentioned earlier that we're not going to be using the floor. We're going to actually set up our diamond push-up on the bench that we've been using for the close grip bench press. This is just so we don't have to do such a full range of motion because you'll already be slightly fatigued for doing the bench press. So a little bit less range of motion. Make sure you get a big squeeze at the end of the repetition. Hands are close together like a diamond. Basically breathe out when we're pushing out, breathe in on the way down, and nice, slow and controlled technique between 8 and 15 reps, or as many as possible until failure. So exercise number 3 is going to be a single arm chest press. We're basically going to start off by making sure that we're stable on the bench. Make sure your core is activated as well, so flat feet on the floor, make sure your core is activated, and with the free hand that I've got, I'm just going to place it on my chest to feel the contraction. That's going to help with the mind to muscle connection as well when we're doing the exercise. This exercise, similar to the other ones, we're going to do between 4 and 5 sets, and myself personally, 8 to 15 reps on each arm. And you can actually do this with no rest as well in between sets, so you can go right arm, left arm, vice versa, and then go straight back into it, just to keep that tension on the muscle. And you don't need too much rest after doing single arm exercises anyway. Exercise number 4 is going to be a cable fly. So we're going to stand in the cables. Basically, the difference between the way I'm going to do it today is that we're going to be standing basically with almost straight legs, and we're going to be leaning forward into the repetitions. So it's basically keep your arms very, very straight, but a slight bend in the elbow when we're doing the rep. This is going to help isolate the chest when we're doing them. Basically lean forward almost at a 90-degree angle with your torso, and bring your arms all the way through and basically act like you're hugging a tree. So we're going to do that just to make sure we're getting as much isolation through the chest as we can, and we're not using any other muscles. So if you have too much of a bend in the elbow, then you're going to actually use a bit more bicep, and that's not what we want in this exercise. So isolations are generally the exercise we do at the end of our exercises, just to finish off and really burn the muscle out. Similar to all the other ones, I'll say it every time, between 4 and 5 sets. Make sure you feel the exercise before you finish it, and between 8 and 15 reps. Thanks so much for watching my video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed my chest workout here today. If you want any more videos, feel free to subscribe here or go to www.MrSupplement.com.au.